Hey everybody, it's your girl Yvette here. Thank you so much for coming back to my channel. Just to let you know, this is not the original opening to this video. I decided to change it because of some things that happened this past week. So I spent all morning in the emergency room yesterday because I had massive neck pain. I had been having the pain for a few days prior, which had been keeping me up. Basically, I was getting like 2 hours of sleep a night and I couldn't take it anymore. The pain was so outrageous that I felt like I was going to pass out. The biggest problem is I'm allergic to most medications. I don't get the good stuff because I have really bad reactions to them. So the only painkiller that I can take is Tylenol, which sometimes doesn't manage really bad pain. So I went to the ER and they gave me an anti-inflammatory steroid, a muscle relaxant, and also a medication for nerve pain. I've been taking it for, this is my second day now. It has definitely decreased my pain tremendously, but it's still there. Just the slightest movement of my head will, send me off into pain. I have no range of motion in my neck. I cannot turn my neck, so I can only move my torso, nor can I look down, so I have to bend at my waist, and that actually hurt. So I had a CT scan. I have some degeneration of my cervical spine discs. So this is something that I'm going to have to manage. So why am I making this video? Why did I change the opening? Several months ago, I'd gone for my annual checkup and had some blood work done. And my doctor noticed that I had some abnormal values just on my regular routine blood test that we all get. And she says, they're really not that high. They're on the lower end of abnormal. And she says, and it's pretty common for someone who's gained weight, who's older and menopausal. But she said, but these are things that we are going to have to monitor just to make sure that you don't need to be put on any medications to manage, these issues. And it just was really upsetting to me because I was thinking, I was in pretty good health. And she said that I am, but it's just something that we need to watch to make sure that it doesn't get out of control. So I'm supposed to go back for follow-up blood test. But, basically she said you need to alter your diet again and also incorporate some exercise. And like I've said before, I've always been somebody who exercised, but I've fallen off, and I've definitely fallen off even more because of the pandemic. I just don't want to go anywhere, like gyms and stuff like that. And even walking outside, I can do that, but it's probably not enough. So this has just got me thinking, I'm 52 years old and things are going to start degenerating even more as I get older. And I'm, worried, especially because of the situation with this neck. This pain was so unmanageable, and I'm thinking things can get worse when I get older. So my ultimate goal now is to modify everything in my life. I'm talking, yes, my diet, which I've talked about numerous times on here. I have to go even harder. My exercise, I have to definitely start incorporating different types of stuff. I've been doing low impact aerobics and some weights, but I'm gonna have to definitely throw some high intensity in there because I want to make sure that my bones are, being I want to say pounded, like when you walk hard or running, so that you build more bone, because that's another issue we got to think about, osteopenia or osteoporosis as women as we get older. And also I want to make sure that I do a lot of things to keep my brain and my mind healthy, how I think and what I do to just make sure that I'm always at full capacity, that I have mental clarity, that I understand, that I'm, always thinking. These are a lot of things that we have to think about as we age, because I have a lot of older people in my life and they're doing really well, but I've seen a lot of older people who have really just degenerated completely, and I don't want to be that. And I know that there are some things that we cannot avoid because we just have predispositions for disorders or disease, hereditary factors, and sometimes those are things that we cannot avoid, but it doesn't mean that we cannot work toward being the healthiest that we can be. And so that is my ultimate goal. So anyway, the rest of the video is kind of me just sharing with you some foods that I like to eat and how I prepare them, and also some of the exercises that I was doing, my low impact aerobics, I guess you would call it. Anyway, that's it. That's what I just wanted to share with you. So thank you again for watching, and I'll see you at the next video. Bye. And so now I'm going to prepare myself something to eat. I feel like having eggs, but I forgot that I had these Brussels sprouts here from Trader Joe's. They're really huge. My Brussels sprouts are rinsed off, and now I'm going to start preparing them for the bake. Start peeling some of these off. I may have to cut a little deeper so that the leaves can come off easier so that I can make the chips. I'm gonna stick them in the oven right now without any seasoning, just to kind of dry them out a little bit. I don't want to cook them, so I'm not gonna keep them in too long, but I'm gonna put them into the 350 heated oven and probably leave them in for like a good, I don't know, maybe 5 minutes. Give me a second, let's see. These are out of the oven. They are pretty dry, but they're still soft, but it's okay because I just didn't want them to be waterlogged. So now I'm going to go ahead and use some extra virgin olive oil and coat these bad boys. First, just a little bit of olive oil. Let's see. Oh, I did not mean for that to come out like that, but hey. This is what happens when you don't have one of the little narrow spouted dispensers. That oil all dispersed all over. Next, I'm going to add some pink salt for a little flavoring. You know, sometimes I don't add enough salt. Sometimes I'm afraid to put too much salt because I really don't want to make that be another health issue. But when you don't put enough salt on these things, it definitely is lacking in flavor. Next thing, I want to use some fresh black pepper. I love black pepper. I probably eat more black pepper than the average person, and people think this is an overabundance, but for me, this is actually pretty normal. I didn't even tell you, this is some just regular garlic powder. It's not garlic salt, just the powder. Added a generous amount of that. Normally I don't add onion powder, but I'm going to put just a tiny bit on. Yes, you see what my tiny bit is. Okay, so I decided that I'm gonna cook the other Brussels sprouts in this pot here. That's just burned. That is not, because it's not clean. So first things first, I'm gonna go ahead and just give it a little heat and put some olive oil in, but I'm also going to do some butter. Not necessarily dietetic, but it's gonna be good nonetheless. I'm also going to use butter, the olive oil from before, and I'm also going to put some lemon in it. But first, let me get the pot hot enough. I'm going to put some oil in there now. If you guys could see how much oil I put in there, it's like not that much. Hopefully the camera is focusing. I don't have my glasses on, so I can't even see what you guys are seeing. This is Land O'Lakes olive oil and sea salt, butter with olive oil and sea salt. I really love this stuff. Like whenever my parents come over, my father absolutely hates it. I don't know why. He's like, no, I want real butter. I'm like, it is real butter. But who knows? He's too traditional, I guess. But this is so good. As you can tell how big the pot is, that I love it. So just gonna get that melted nice in there. And I'm actually gonna just start putting the Brussels sprouts in right now. Brussels sprouts in the oven smell so good. I'm going to take it out really quickly, just give it a little look. Just want you to see how they look so far. Nice and green. And let me just listen to see if they're crispy. They're getting there. Okay, so let me just give you a little idea of what they will look like. I don't know if you can see the little brown edge on there. Yummy, I'm ready. I'm ready. Okay, let me stick them back in there instead of playing games. And give these a little stir here. I'm gonna go ahead and just use a little kosher salt in here, like a pinch or two. I could have used the pink salt, but just decided to go with regular kosher salt. My black pepper. I am a fiend for black pepper. Definitely my garlic powder as well. I'll use a little onion. Don't know that I have enough oil in here. I don't want it super oily, but I also don't want it so like dry and bland. So I may have to go in and put a tiny bit more olive oil. I'll put, using a teaspoon here, not a measuring teaspoon, but nonetheless, that much about in here. See if that makes any difference. Then I'm gonna go ahead and cut this lemon up. There were so many seeds inside this lemon, it was insane. Get that off there and give a little knock around in here. Should have probably just used this earlier. Can I get it in here? Let's see if I could get any more juice out. Okay, I am taking out the Brussels sprout chips. This is as dark as I'm willing to let them go because otherwise they're just gonna stop burning, but let me tell you, I kid you not, this is so delicious. I'm gonna eat this whole thing probably standing here. Good, good, good. Look at that. And the pepper and the salt amount, it is so amazing. Okay, we'll put these off to the side. These bad boys, although that doesn't look that good, and at first I didn't think it tasted good, I just put more fresh lemon on it, and it is, yeah, it's really yummy. So I just wanted to share with you my 2 ways of making my Brussels sprouts. So I just finished a 15-minute step exercise and I'm sweating like crazy. I don't know that you can see it. If I tell you, just 15 minutes on a stepper like this, it's not that high, using only, I believe this is a 5-pound weight. It was a killer workout. I am done. I can't even do anymore. And it's really early in the morning and I haven't had anything to eat, which is actually when I like to exercise. But for some reason now I just feel extremely exhausted and low energy. So now I'm just gonna take a shower and get ready for the rest of my day. I'm gonna be making a vegetable sandwich. I'm gonna be having a pita bread. Normally I get the plain one, but sweet onion kind of seemed intriguing to me. So I'm going to be using one of these pitas. And what is going to go into my vegetable sandwich is hummus. I got the lemon twist one just because I really love lemon. I'm also going to be using some of these cherry tomatoes. I'm going to put some arugula on it, some cucumber. I have some left over from last night. I'm also going to be using some spinach, if this is actually still good. Oh, some of it looks like it's gotten soggy, so I may be skipping on the spinach. I'm going to be using some roasted red bell peppers and some purple or red onion, whichever you call it. I toasted my pitas. Normally I do it in the oven, but I just didn't feel like waiting for the oven to heat up. And now I'm gonna go ahead and add my lemon twist hummus. And if you hear that noise in the back, that is my teapot. Not my teapot, my water kettle, boiling some water, because I actually like to have a hot beverage with lunch. I don't know if that's weird, but I kind of enjoy it. So do not be horrified over the amount of onion that I put on these little sandwiches. I'm not going to do much more tomatoes than this, just because I want to roast these a little later, and I'll show you just how I like to roast them. And whenever you do that, these are so good after roasting them the way that I do, with just like a little bread, maybe a little piece of cheese. Of course, I'm gonna try to cut down on my cheese consumption too, because I feel like dairy is probably not something that I need to continue eating all that much because of my skin. Alrighty, so that is on there. Now I'm gonna go ahead and open up these peppers. And usually they're really big and I can just cut one in half. And I don't want it super wet, so I'm going to dry it off a bit with this paper towel. Yeah, I'm gonna cut it into strips so I get some in every bite. Yummy. All right. Put my cucumbers on. my gosh, I'm so hungry. I have not eaten all day. And now for the arugula. I feel like I'm leaving something out, but I don't know what it is right now, so I guess I'll know once I bite into it. Some arugula. Probably should have put this on before, but I'm gonna go ahead and give myself a little pinch of salt. Of course, you know, not too much salt is best, but I don't have a problem with blood pressure. Thank God. Not yet, and hopefully never. And I think that is it. So you guys probably looking and going, that doesn't look appetizing, but can I tell you, it is so delicious. So good. Let me see if my tea is ready. My water. So I have my hot water. I'm gonna have one of these Bigelow green teas. I meant to get the ones that are individually wrapped as opposed to there's 4 in each of these packets. I think there's 4. I don't think there's 6. Well, there could be 6. But anyway, it's just a pain in the neck because you always end up pulling out more than you need. Yeah, I didn't put the spinach on it just because the more and more that I looked at that spinach, it wasn't looking too hot, but All right, I know it's rude to talk with food in your mouth and you certainly don't want to see it. So if you're looking for a quick lunch vegetable idea, did that make any sense? If you're looking for a quick lunch idea with just vegetables, definitely give this kind of sandwich a try. It's so good, I kid you not. It's delicious. All right, I'll talk to you a little later.